Welcome back. Let's talk nutrition. So let's start by going over the macronutrients. There's 3 main macronutrients that we will be talking about today. Those are carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So your carbohydrates, which is actually my favorite food group, are the ones that give you energy, okay? There are 2 kinds of carbohydrates. You've got your simple carbohydrates and your complex carbohydrates. So your complex carbohydrates are the carbohydrates that you want to be filling up on the most. These are your fiber-filled carbs, things like your potatoes, your squash. Then we've got our simple carbohydrates, which have a lot more sugar and they break down a lot quicker. They don't have as much fiber in them. Those are things like your fruits. Carbohydrates are, like I said, meant for energy. So you want to eat carbohydrates a little bit earlier in the day when you need the energy to sustain you throughout the day. Now let's talk protein. So it's always this thought of how I need more protein, I need more protein. Yes, we need protein, but it's not as important. So what do we need protein for? Protein is meant to help the body recover and repair. So when we are active throughout the day, we need to have that support to rebuild our muscles, to build enzymes to help our body digest things. So we do need to have protein. So there is complete protein and there is non-complete protein, and we need a variety of both. The third macronutrient is fat. So fat, heavier in calories, but our body needs it to support brain health, nerve function, and also to help us feel more full. So we've got saturated fats, we've got unsaturated fats, and omega fatty acids. All 3 of them are important in their own way. Now, within the macronutrients, we have micronutrients. Micronutrients are my favorite ones to talk about because they are the ones that really fuel and heal our body. So the micronutrients are vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So these are the phytonutrients that mostly come from our plants if we're eating the whole foods that we need to do to keep our body healthy. So what are whole foods, you might ask? This is a question I get a lot. What are whole foods? What does this mean? So a whole food is something that is not processed at all or minimally processed. I like to say it's food that's been grown by Mother Earth. So let's talk about a few of those whole foods. So some of the whole foods that you want to keep in your diet daily are fruits. So we've got a variety of different fruits that I always suggest. I mean, you've got your seasonal fruits. I usually suggest eating for the season. In the summer, you've got your berries and your peaches and your nectarines, that sort of thing. In the winter, there seems to always be bananas and apples and pears. Those are also good choices. Frozen fruits are also a really great idea in the winter because it will hold a lot of the nutrients when they're frozen, and they're really good to throw into smoothies. Now, the main food group that we really want to be focusing on are veggies. All sorts of veggies that you can be eating. Really, we want to be eating most of our diet of veggies. Now, unfortunately, I know that's not everybody's favorite food, but there's lots of different ways, such as roasting and herbs, that you can actually spice up the flavor of veggies to keep you full and to keep you healthy and full of energy. The next would be legumes. These are your beans and your lentils. Now you can choose beans and lentils that are dried. They take a little bit longer to cook, maybe not quite as easy to prepare, or you can choose a canned variety. Sometimes you have to really look closely. I prefer to see everybody eating an organic canned bean if possible. And of course, if it gets a little bit too salty, just rinse them in a strainer and it takes away some of that salt. The next food group would be whole grains. So some of my favorite are brown rice. You've also got quinoa, which is really high in protein actually as well. So the whole grain food group, not too bad, but we want to make sure we're eating them in the whole form as much as possible. So in the non-whole form would be things like breads and pastas. In the whole form, we're looking at quinoa, brown rice, oatmeal. Then our last food group here we'll be talking about is our nuts and seeds. So these are going to be part of the fat family and the macronutrients, except we just really want to be careful that we're not eating too many of these foods. So those are basically your whole food nutrients. Thanks for watching.